Hare Krishna Prabhu, you can start.
Shall we start, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
भागवतम की जय। प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं धनंजयव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वती व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरते। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भवते नैष्टिकी। Hare Krishna. So I welcome you all to this Bhagavatam class morning from Sheshadripuram, ISKCON. So today we'll be reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, discussing about two shlokas, that is Canto 4, Chapter 1, Text 4 and 5. So the screen may be shared. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you are there? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'm just trying to share the screen since Prabhu is not there, I think. Hey, Sridhar, Sridhar, Sridhar. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Just 1 second, Prabhu. Hey, Sridhar. Screen sharing. Screen sharing. Screen, huh? Screen recording, start recording. Zoom, huh?
I need the camera.
Screen recording. Screen on the face.
Safari share one.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hey, can you share the screen, Prabhu? I'm waiting for screen sharing. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can you share the screen? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, I just read out the shloka. You can refer to Srimad Bhagavatam 4.1.4. You can go to Veda base. So we are reading text number 4. Yastayo Purusha Sakshad Vishnu Yajna Swarupada Sa Stri Sa Dakshina Bhute Amsa Bhutanam Payani. This is shloka number 4. Yastayo Purusha Sakshad Vishnu Yajna Swarupada या स्त्री सा दक्षिणा भूतेवं स भूतना पायानि. What one meaning? Here, one who, tayo, out of them, Purusha, male, Sakshat, directly, Vishnu, the supreme God, Yajna, Sarupadrak, accepting the form, Ya, the other, Stri, female, Sa, she, Dakshina, Bhuteha, of the goddess of fortune, Amsa Bhuta, being a plenary expansion, Annapayani, never to be separated. Translation and purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Of the two children born of Akuti, the male child was directly in an incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his name was Yajna, which is another name of Lord Vishnu. The female child was a partial incarnation of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, the eternal consort of Lord Vishnu. Purport. Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, is the eternal consort of Lord Vishnu. Here it is stated that both the God and Lakshmi, who are eternal consorts, appeared from Akuti simultaneously. Both the God and his consort are beyond this material creation, as confirmed by many authorities. Narayana Paro Vyaktat. Therefore, the eternal relations cannot be changed. And Yajna, the boy born of Akuti, later married the goddess of fortune. Reading sloka number 5. Ananyo swagaha putraya putram vitat rochisham. Ananya swagaha putraya putra vitat rochisham. Swayambho muda yukta ruchi jagaha dakshinam. Ananya swagaha putraya putram vitat rochisham. Swayambho muda yukta ruchi jagaha sa dakshinam. Ananya swagaha putraya putra vitat rochisham. Swayambhu muda yukta ruchi jagaha dakshinam. Ananya brought to. Swagraham home. Putraya born of the daughter. Putram the son. Vitata rochisham very powerful. Swayambhuva the Manu named Swayambhuva. Muda being priest. Yuktaha with. Ruchi the great sage. Ruchi. Jagraha kept. Dakshinam the daughter named Dakshina. Swayambhava Manu very gladly brought home the beautiful boy named Yajna, and Ruchi, his son-in-law, kept with him the daughter Dakshina. Swayambhava Manu was very glad to see that his daughter Akuti had given birth to both a boy and a girl. He was afraid that he would take one son, and that because of this, his son-in-law Ruchi might be sorry. Thus, when he heard that a daughter was born along with the boy, he was very glad. Ruchi, according to his promise, returned his male child to Swayambhu Manu and decided to keep the daughter, whose name was Dakshina. One of the Lord Vishnu's name is Yajna, because he is the master of the Vedas. The name Yajna comes from Yajnashupatiha, which means the god of all sacrifices. In the Yajurveda, there are different ritualistic prescriptions for performing yajnas, and the beneficiary of all such yajnas is the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Therefore, it is stated in Bhagavad Gita 3.9, Yajnathat karmanaha, one should act, but one should perform one's prescribed duties only for the sake of yajna or Vishnu. If one does not act for the satisfaction of Supreme Personality Godhead, or if one does not perform devotional service, then there will be reactions to all one's activities. It does not matter if the reaction is good or bad. If activities are not devoted with the desire of the Supreme Lord, or if we do not act in Krishna consciousness, then we shall be responsible for the results of all activities. There is always a reaction in every kind of action. But if actions are performed for yajna, there is no reaction. Thus, if one acts for yajna or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is not entangled in the material condition. For it is mentioned in the Vedas and also in Bhagavad Gita that the Vedas and Vedic ritualistics are all meant for understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. From the beginning, one should try to act in Krishna consciousness. That will free from the reactions of material activities. Thus ends the purport for Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 1, text number 5. Om Jnana-Dvigandasya Jnananjana-Shalakaya Chakshuramitam Mena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Metam Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapadakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Sha Sri Rupam Sadhatam Sahagana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaguna Lagita Sri Vishakamitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sudha Devi Pranami Haripriye Vancha Kalpataruscha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pachayani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Dishatayani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Krishna Prishta Bhutale Srimati Jagadata Swami Nityanamani Namah Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Padaya Gaur Pada Dhammadaya Nagar Dhammatayani Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So, in this chapters 4 and up to chapter 7, the gynecological table is described. Table like dynasty, who is coming from where. This is described up to chapter 7. Like we call recently this family tree. We say that it is a family tree. So actually our name, the name man has come from Manu. Actually, Swayambhu Manu is our oldest forefathers. So, the name man has actually come from Manu. So, actually, Swayambhu Manu and his wife Shatarupa gave birth to 2 sons. What were the names? They were Pariyatavarta and Bhutanath Pad. 2 sons, and also 3 daughters were born from Swayambhu Manu and Shatarupa. They were Dehuti, Parashuti, and Akuti. So today we are discussing about Akuti, the 3rd daughter of Swayambhu Manu. There was an understanding between Swayambhu Manu and Ruchi. Ruchi is none other than his son-in-law. That Swayambhu Manu had told Ruchi that I will give my daughter Akuti to you, provided you give the child born from Akuti to me. So Ruchi, being a very great devotee, he accepted this offer and married Akuti. So after marriage, they had 2 children. One was a daughter, one was a son. So when Swayambhu Manu heard that Akuti had given birth, he was also very pleased that she had given birth to 2 children. Why? Because one child he will keep, and the other child, at least Ruchi can enjoy. So the one which Swayambhanu Manu brought from Akuti, the child was Yagna. The boy baby was Yagna, named Yagna, and the daughter was named Dakshina. The baby girl was named Dakshina. So Ruchi kept Dakshina back and gave as promised to Swayambhanu Manu, the Yagna son. So why was this done was because Yagna is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the incarnation. He is the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So another name of Yagna, Lord Vishnu, is Yagna. So, so when Swayambhanu bought back Yagna and continued the generation. So here, actually, Prabhupada discusses in the purport mainly about Yagna. So in this, Yagna is actually nothing but another meaning is the master of the Vedas. So, who is Yagnapati? Yagnapati is actually Lord Vishnu. All the Yagnas, the final objective is to please Lord Krishna and Lord Vishnu. So, these Yagnas are prescribed in Ajurveda. If you of the 4 Vedas, the Ajurveda discusses about the performance of Yagnas. So, these are ritualistic performances. The Yagnas described, the sacrifices, are ritualistic performances which are meant to satisfy Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So one should perform yajna only for the satisfaction of Vishnu. But usually people perform yajnas for the demigod, with the demigods, for the demigods, so that they can get material benefit very easily. Actually, the yajna will go to the demigods after sanctioning from the Lord Vishnu. So whatever results to be given, ultimately it has to be sanctioned by Lord Vishnu. Otherwise, the demigods by themselves, they cannot give any benefits to them, to the person who has done this sacrifice, yajna. So, one should understand that yajna is why it has to be performed. What is the reason for performance of yajnas? So this need to understand. The ultimate aim, actually, of the Vedas and these rituals, ultimate aim. What is the ultimate aim? Not for getting some temporary benefit. This yajna, performance of sacrifice, will ultimately help in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. That is very important. It is ultimately to understand who is God. This is a gradual process. By performance of yajna, one becomes qualified to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So actually we are not qualified, but by the mercy of Supreme Personality of Godhead, He has performed this, given these yajnas to be performed, so that through that performance of the yajna, we can understand Him. That is the main goal. Like we have 4 principles, that is dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So by performing sacrifices and following the dharma, one becomes economically developed. So artha, from dharma you go to artha. By becoming economically developed, you get a chance for satisfying your sense gratification. Ultimately, what for we have come to this material world? We have come to this material world because we had some desires. We had a desire, that's why Krishna sent us back to this material world from the spiritual world, stating that since you are having some desires, you try to fulfill your desires. But if you just know we have to fulfill some desire, we don't know the process because we are not self-educated. So Krishna gave this process of yajna, that perform these Vedic rituals and you will get an opportunity to fulfill your desires. So this Vedic rituals are actually meant for us to fulfill our desires and move ahead, because people don't like to do sacrifices. They want to enjoy here. They want to have no restriction to anything. They don't want any restriction. But that is not possible. If you go as per anything without any, as per your whims and fancies, then you will end up in the reaction for that papa punya which you have done. If you have good, you get good results. If you have done bad activities, you get bad results. So he himself shall be responsible for the good and bad. If he does not do as per the yajna prescribed. So this yajna which we have to do, the reactions are already there. We have to, the reactions will come as per the yajna which we have performed. So these sacrifices differ from age to age, from the yuga to yugas. So there is Satya Yoga, there is Treta Yoga, there is Dwapara Yoga and Kali Yuga. So sacrifices are there for all the yugas. So the main process in Satya Yoga was meditation. And for Treta Yuga, there were a lot of sacrifices mentioned. For sacrifice, the yuga was for sacrifices. Then Dwapara Yuga we have got for deity worship. And finally Kali Yuga, which we are presently undergoing, is actually for the Harinama Sankirtan Yajna. This is Yajna, Sankirtan Yajna. So, even if you could not perform any sacrifices as enjoyed for some material benefit, one performance Sankirtan Yajna in Kali Yuga, he gets all the benefits of all these sacrifices done for other types of sacrifices done. So, this is one very concession which Lord Krishna has given for Kali Yuga, that just by doing the Sankirtan Yajna, we can attain the same goal which we might have done, which we might achieve by doing lots of penances, tapasya for thousands of years, or performing big yajnas like Ashwamedha Yajna and all. So all these yajnas which we have performed, the same benefit we get by doing this Harinama Sankirtan Yajna. So this simple process one should take to this, because if we do not act in Krishna consciousness, or we do not perform devotional service for the satisfaction of Supreme Personality of Godhead, we get entangled. We get entangled, we get bondage from, we won't get liberated. So people do dharma, artha, kama, but they forget the last one, moksha. So after sense gratification, they stop. They do not go for the next step, that is moksha. So they just stop at the kama stage. So actually this stage, they may enjoy sense gratification by performing this yajna, but ultimately he again has to come back to this material world and repeat this cycle of birth and death. So this yajna, if you perform just for your sense gratification, for the sense gratification, then you won't advance. There is no use. You get entangled in these material conditions. So to get free from all the reactions of material activities, one should perform devotional service and act for the satisfaction of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So whenever one does yajna, he should remember that ultimately the benefactor is Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. So one should do that one. Actually, human life is given for performing yajnas. So, sacrifices is not meant to enjoy this material world. Like if we are put in a jail, in a jail. So it is not that we try to enjoy inside the jail. You can't enjoy inside the jail. You may get good facilities in a jail, like there is first class jail and second class jail is there. So the first class person in first class jail, he has got more amenities to enjoy. He may have a mobile phone, he may be access to TV and all. So he gets more access. But that does not mean that he is enjoy there and again stay in the jail. So we have to come out of this material world, this jail. There's a world outside which is full of bliss, Satchit Ananda. We have to come out of this material world and go to the spiritual world. So that way we have to understand that the purpose of all this, is to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead and come out of this material world and go to the spiritual world. So we see many people do a lot of sacrifices, especially I've seen in temples, they walk and go to Balaji Tirupati, they do so much austerity on the way, and then they roll on the ground in Mantralayam and all. If you see, they do all this pradakshina, rolling on the ground. So all these sacrifices and austerity they do. But they have got one material motive behind that. If I don't have a son or a daughter, then I do some type of sacrifice and some type of austerity I take. So they don't know that ultimately these sacrifices, austerity is meant for us to elevate and come out of this material world. But that is not possible. So you may do a sacrifice and you can be elevated to the spiritual world, not to spiritual, Swargaloka. Up to the Swargaloka, you can go. If you are so much attached to the sacrifice for sense enjoyment, you can go to the higher planetary systems. So as you perform yajna, you get more facility to enjoy. Swargaloka, the enjoyment is 1,000 times or maybe more than what is here. This is nothing compared to the enjoyment you have in Swargaloka. So if you are so much attached to sense gratification to enjoy, then you do the sacrifice, you get to the next Swargaloka you can get. But ultimately there is a time factor wherein after your pious deeds, whatever results you got from the sacrifice is over, again you come down to this material world. So all that sacrifice is done just for temporary enjoyment in Swargaloka. So that is not an intelligent thing to do the sacrifice for yajna. So yajna you have to do ultimately to come out of this permanently, of this cycle of birth and death, not to get entangled again and again. So this understanding, very few people get the understanding that the yajna is meant to come out of this material world, not for enjoying this material world. So if you go on enjoying this, try to enjoy the material world, then we get entangled, we get bonded. So Lord Krishna observes all the sacrifices and austerities that we do. He's called Achyuta, infallible, because he never fails to notice the slightest bit of service rendered, performed. So the sacrifice one does for the satisfaction of Supreme Personality Godhead will be paid back by God Vishnu or Krishna. So he won't keep anything. Whatever sacrifice and austerity that we do for him, that made by the devotees, he rewards them accordingly. So nothing goes vain, So Example is given of in Mahabharata by Draupadi's Vastrahana. So, Draupadi had when Lord Krishna had a cut, Draupadi tore her sari and tied the bandage for Lord Krishna, just without thinking of anything. So that little service which Draupadi did to Lord Krishna gave back 100 times. He gave hundreds of saris and the Draupadi Vastrahana was doing. He provided thousands of saris to her so that she got protected. So nothing, no sacrifice or austerity goes in vain. We think we have done something and nothing came out. No, every austerity done, even to the demigods or to God, is returned back. So, but one we should think that ultimately one should get that desire to know what is what. Right? They say the human form is meant for Atho Brahma Jignasa. Atho Brahma Jignasa means inquiring about the Brahman. So this Brahma Jignasa can happen only in human form of life. It cannot happen in any other form of life. Like animals, if we are in other species like animals or aquatics, plants and trees and all, there's no question of performing yajna or even knowing about Brahman and how to come out of this material world. There's no chance. Only in human form it is possible. So all sacrifices and yajnas can be done only in human form. So if one has a human form, one should follow the prescribed sacrifice yajna to be done so that he can gradually get elevated to the higher planetary systems. So from there you go to Swargaloka and then you perform austerity, you go to Brahmaloka, then you perform austerities and devotional service, you go back to the spiritual world. So these yajnas are meant to elevate you finally to the spiritual world. But unfortunately, we are bound by our desire to enjoy this material world. So we want to lord it over the material world. So we are not able to understand that whatever activity we are doing here is all destined. There is no activity which is not destined. So we try to do our try to create our destiny, try to change our destiny. That is not possible. So the very purpose of the Vedas is that to understand the Supreme Personality of God, not to get entangled. In fact, if you see all these activities are which happiness and distress that we are facing are all destined. There is nothing like if I work hard, I will get more happiness. There's nothing like that. It is like example is given. There is a load of you have to carry a load. Whether you carry it on a shoulder, you carry it on a head, you carry it on a back. The weight is the weight. So we try to adjust. From head, we try to put it on the shoulder, and from the shoulder, we try to put it on the back. But that remains permanently. We cannot, that destiny you have to undergo. And similarly, happiness will also come automatically. One may think that by this hard labor he can create good luck, but that is not necessarily so. Good conditions and bad conditions are predestined. So life is predestined. So this is a very important argument for everyone. If life is predestined, what for we have to be here? But the Srila Prabhupada said many places that in the material, the happiness and distress that we have to undergo is all destined. Whether you act or don't act, the destiny will come to you. As I told, happiness, if one is not doing anything good, still he gets happiness. He enjoys happiness because he has done something in his previous life and the fruits he's seeing now. You know? So that's why this question, why do bad things happen to good people? So some people who are good, bad things happen. They get miseries. So that is because they are destined for that. They may have done something. The karma is there. They might have done something. So his so bad things may happen to good people and reverse also. Good things happen to bad people. This example many take. Oh, he's doing so many sinful activities, but still he's getting so much happiness. So that is due to he's being enjoyed, he's being done some punya, some good sacrifices, some austerity he might have undergone to enjoy happiness in this life. So we should not try to change our destiny. Destiny is very difficult to change, and the only person who can change the destiny is Lord Krishna himself. So we by doing sacrifices to the demigods and all, we're just shifting our destiny. That's all. Destiny cannot be eradicated at all. So how to eradicate this? How to change our destiny? When Lord Krishna himself can change our destiny, we have to do devotional service. So if you are not engaging in devotional service, then every action has a reaction. Whether it is good or bad, it is there, reaction is there. So like they say in science, every action has equal and opposite reaction. Yes, that is correct. You do some pious activities, you get a reaction for it. If you go do some good sinful activities, you get a reaction for that. But as soon as we engage in our devotional service, we are no longer destined. Predestined. Sorry. We are no longer predestined. Because devotional service will change our destiny. Like suppose example is given, Mr. Prabhupada gave an example that if we had a major problem with a hand, we might make accident or somewhere, and we have problem with me by destiny. We might have had a problem with a hand, but if we are done devotion, if we are doing devotional service, then Krishna will just give a scratch. So he just give a small token of a big token. For a big this one misery, he'll give a small misery. So in that way, you can go on reducing your destiny also. So instead of trying to change your destiny by doing hard work, people think if I work very hard, I can change my destiny. That's not possible. Even if you do hard work, that much is destined. Right? Like people purchase lottery tickets, if I purchase just 10 rupees lottery ticket and I get a price of 1 lakh, did I earn that 1 lakh? No, I didn't earn that 1 lakh. Just by putting 1 rupee or 10 rupees, I got 1 lakh back. So that is very distinct. You're supposed to get 1 lakh from somewhere. So you got it. So we should not try to change or try to act so that our destiny can change. But you create your future destiny that is there. How you react in the present circumstances will create your future destiny. Like if I get a lottery ticket of 1 lakh, I can do anything with that 1 lakh. But what you do with that 1 lakh will create your future destiny. I may go to the bar and restaurant and have a drink. I can utilize that money for doing criminal things. I can utilize that money for my sense gratification. I can finally utilize that money for a good purpose, like giving donation to the temple. So in that, if you give that donation which you got to the temple, you get a good karma, you get a good result in your future. So that destiny is there. You cannot be, so one should try to do devotional service rather than to work hard for material gains. So material benefits, you work hard, whatever is destined, you will get it. So it is useless actually to try to change it. So the only when one engages in devotional service, his destiny can be changed. So this concept people should understand that whatever we do is all destined here. So the bad effects which we get, the miseries which we get, and happiness which we get now is all from our previous karma. So instead of doing good activity, pious activities now, and then elevating yourself for more sense gratification, then ultimately you forget, When one is engaged in full sense gratification, he never tries to understand that anything is beyond there. So as long as he is enjoying life, he is not bothered about Atha Brahma Jignasa. But once misery start coming, then people try to understand why this misery has come to me. What is the cause for this? And that is what the uh, purpose of the human life is, to understand this. Why am I suffering? What for? What is the cause? How can I come out of this miseries? That is what one has to think. The main problem which we are not here is not the water crisis or anything. It is birth, death, old age, and disease. This is our main problem. We have to sort out to see how this problem can be extended, come out of this. So these yajna sacrifices has to be followed very strictly with the understanding that God Vishnu or God Krishna is the ultimate benefactor. When one comes to this understanding, then that sacrifice becomes successful. So we are very fortunate by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, the Sankirta Yajna, which is recommended for Kali Yuga, has been brought down to us in a very simple form. Just sit and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It is such a simple process, but to understand that, we need so many lifetimes, that this process is so simple and it will take us. We always think we will take this process later. People think that the young age is meant for enjoying sense gratification as much as possible. So they try to enjoy the self. For that, they try to enjoy. So even sense gratification, there is a limit. You can't enjoy more than what is destined also. So, and many people, after a lot of sense enjoyment also, they get frustrated, and then they search for other paths. In our devotee community, we see so many devotees, though they are very rich, they have got so much facility for sense enjoyment, but still they left it and said there's no happiness in this. This is not the ultimate goal which I'm searching for. No? Suppose I am walking, when I'm walking, I feel, oh, if I had a cycle, it will be better. Then you get a cycle, then cycling, after cycle, you get a scooter, then after scooter, you get a four-wheeler, then you get a go by your aeroplane, and then you made a chartered aeroplane tour for yourself, or a helicopter. You get upgraded, gradation will go on. But ultimately, what? Again, you have to come back. Again, there will be death. Again, there will be disease. There will be old age. There will be birth. So ultimately, if we from walking to a chartered airplane, we have progressed so much in terms of sense enjoyment, sense gratification. But ultimately, after our quota is over, we again fall down back. Again, we have to start the new cycle. So this specifically tells, this sloka, 2 sloka specifically tells Yajna is nothing but Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he says that perform devotional service. Don't get entangled by the sacrifices for better sense enjoyment. Come out of this devotional, this mentality of enjoyment and sacrifice. Perform austerity. Human life is meant for austerity, not for enjoying the senses. So he's saying, come for do devotional service. Come for the satisfaction. You have to do all the activities which you use for the satisfaction of Supreme Personality of God. Then our activities are not bound by reactions. If we do not devote our activities with relationship to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, then it will bound to create reactions for us. It may be good or bad, but there's a reaction for that. So to come out of this entanglement in material condition, come out of this. Do not waste your time trying to work hard and in the material, try to elevate yourself materially. There's no enjoyment there. It's all flickering enjoyment. So our main enjoyment is to have a Sachitananda body, spiritual body. When you're in the spiritual body, there is no case of birth, death, old age, disease. There is nothing there. So in that way, so it is requested that all should take up devotional service as soon as possible, so that one does not get entangled more and more in this material world. And the only process that is recommended in Kali Yuga is the Sankirtana Yajna, and one should chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So thank you very much. So if there was any misunderstanding or something, please forgive me. Panchakalpatarusha kripa sindhu vacha patitanam pavanam Vishnu namo namo Nandkoti Vaishnava ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Danda Pranam, Prabhuji. Thanks for the very excellent class, Prabhuji. Very enlightening. Prabhu, I have a question. What is the purpose of the human life, Prabhuji? Can you please?
That's a good. As I gave this understanding, Atho Brahma Jignasa, to understand Brahman, that is the ultimate aim of human form. Who is this Brahma? Why I have come here? What is my purpose? That one has to understand. So that can be understood by the scriptures, from the scriptures. We cannot mentally conconnect ourselves. So as you know, when you take a driving license and drive on the road, there is so much rules and regulations. You cannot go on your way or any way you want. So Krishna has given us the scriptures to understand. Only in human form you can understand. So understanding this Brahman, coming out of this cycle of birth, death, old age and disease, that is the main aim of human form, not for enjoyment, sense enjoyment. So when you understand the scriptures by doing devotional service, you get jnana. You associate with devotees, you get satsanga. Then you will understand what is the purpose. If I associate with a drunkard, then he will tell the aim of human form is to drink as much as possible and enjoy. He will tell you that guidance. He'll give you that guidance. So you may think, oh, that is human form, to drink more and more and enjoy. But as you know, if you are a little intelligent, you know that that is not going to give us any, that is not the goal of human life. Okay. So one should understand why I am here, what for, what is my purpose, where I have to go. So Atho Brahmana Jignasa is the first thing we should try. So we study the scriptures carefully, especially the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. You study and then you come to know what is my purpose and what for I have taken this human form. So Durlabha Manava, it is very rare to get human form. Please do not waste this human form, because you don't know our next birth will be animal or plant or aquatics, we don't know. So only in human form you can do Atha Brahmana Jignasa. Otherwise, you can't do in animal form, you can't do. So please do not waste this human form. It is ultimately meant to come out of this and go to the spiritual world, come out of this material world. Right? We have to stop crime and come out of the jail. Not that we go on going inside the jail, coming out, going on, coming out. So that is a human form of. That is the ultimate goal. Okay. Hare Krishna, did it clarify you?
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Please, will you help me understand this? Atato Brahmo Jigyasa means we need to know that we are not this body, we are soul, Prabhu. What exactly?
Yes. Ultimately begins with that. You know, we are not this body, we are the soul, and we have to do what is required for the soul, not for the body. We do everything for the body, not for the soul. So all spiritual activities is satisfying for the soul. All material activities is for the satisfying of the body. So Atha Brahman Jigyasa, find out what is Brahman, to come to the Brahman stage. From there you can go to the Bhagwan stage and up to Paramatma stage and Bhagwan stage in realization. So first step you can go for understanding Brahman, where this creation has come from, how it has created, where. So this is termed as Brahman. So understanding that is the first step that we have to. Jigyasa means inquire, inquire about Brahman, where it is, how to achieve it and all. So that is why the first stage is called Atha Brahmana Jignasa. So the simplified method which Sri Prabhupada has told is just to do devotional service. You get Atha Brahmana Jignasa now automatically. Just by doing devotional service, you can come to that stage. And ultimately, after doing properly under the guidance of spiritual master, you do not come back to this material world again. You achieve the spiritual world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Dandapranam. Jai.
So thank you for all for joining. So we end this session. Panchaka Patravascha Kripasindhavascha Patitanam Pavano Vaishnava Namo Namo.